What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today I just want to talk about some things with Modern Warfare because I think this game has some issues that need to be fixed. Now, I think the game itself is pretty good. Like, I've played the campaign all the way through. I think it's probably got one of the better campaigns, if not like a top 3 campaign in Call of Duty history, honestly. Like, I actually really like the campaign in Modern Warfare, but I want to actually focus on multiplayer for this video because, you know, obviously I do a Call of Duty multiplayer channel, so the first thing I really want to talk about, I think, is one of the bigger issues, is the maps. Now, I don't think the maps are really that good, but I think when you look between the 10v10 and the 6v6 maps, I think the 6v6 maps are better. Like, when you look at, let's take Anaya Palace, for example, that map I think is probably the second, it's either first or second worst map in the game. That and Piccadilly, I think, are the worst maps, each of their own category, 10v10 and 6v6, but I just don't think this map is good. But I think it would actually be pretty decent if they shrunk the size of it down, and I think it's the same with most of these maps. Most of the maps are just too big, like Anaya Palace. It's got the palace in the center, and it's got all of this stuff around the outside. It's got both of the insides and the pathways on the side where you can ride the ATVs, and it takes like 40 seconds to run from the end that you spawn in sometimes to the center of the map, which means that to get from your spawn to the center of the map, without getting killed, by the way, without getting killed, it takes almost like a full minute sometimes just to get to the actual possible action that's going on this map, which that's ridiculous. And even then, like, I don't think the map is even designed well for like 10v10. The 10v10 maps, I just don't think were designed well for that many people. I don't think 20 players on these maps work. I think it needs like 16v16 or something to actually work, because even in like 10v10, you'll be going to the time limit most of the time, and matches will not be finishing, which is still a huge problem in this game, and that's actually where I want to jump off of, because the maps just aren't good to begin with, I don't think, but the game is so slow, man. And that is another big issue. Like, Infinity Ward really did make a super slow game. I have never played a Call of Duty game where almost every single match that I play is going to the time limit. Right out of launch, too. I mean, like, in Modern Warfare Remastered, which I played literally up until this game's launch, yeah, you might go to the time limit, especially like, you know, a week ago when there was probably just like a couple thousand people playing it in the world, and you were playing 3v3s throughout the entire duration of your time playing. But this game just came out and you're playing all the way to the time limit in 10v10s, like that, there's no reason that should be happening in a brand new Call of Duty game, and it's because the game is so slow. The gameplay encourages people to camp, the maps encourage people to camp because there's so many buildings on a lot of these maps, there's a lot of windows for people to sit in, there's a pretty steep learning curve, there's kill streaks. I think there's a lot of factors that really work into why people camp so much, but it slows the gameplay down way too much. And there's times that you'll be playing, you know, 13 minutes into a headquarters or an objective game mode match, and people will finish at the top of the leaderboard with like 18 kills or like 21 kills in a 20v20 mode. There's no Call of Duty ever where that would have ever happened before that. Like, you can say whatever you want about the jetpack games. I was not a fan of jetpacking or anything like that in like Black Ops 3. But you put, like, Black Ops 3, you put 10v10 Ground War, something like that going on. The games were just so fast-paced, there was so much action going on, and yeah, at times it got annoying because you were just getting killed so much, but I would rather there be so much action going on that the gameplay was so exciting than everyone be sitting in corners and there be, you know, not enough going on. And that's another thing, the camping meta is just obnoxious to play against, and for some reason people like to label this as tactical gameplay. This is, I don't understand this. This is not tactical. And I think that most of the people who think that this is tactical for some reason think that this is like Rainbow Six Siege, but if you've ever actually played a game like that, it really isn't like that at all, because Call of Duty and Rainbow Six Siege will never be the same. Call of Duty has it's always been a fast-paced game. I'm sorry, it always has been. It hopefully always will be. You're never going to make it different. You're never going to transform the community into a tactical shooter community. The community's always going to hate people who sit in corners. The community's always going to hate people who sit around and play slow and camp with claymores. It's always going to be the way that it is, but this game favors that meta. This game so far favors people who play slow and sit in corners and, you know, load up on claymores, and sit in buildings. The game punishes you for running around the map. The game punishes you for sprinting because you can't pull your weapons down quicker. So people who walk around the map slowly or sit in corners and have their weapons drawn all the time, They're going to kill everybody so much easier. And for some reason, it's deemed tactical to sit with a shotgun in a corner and aim at a doorway. That I don't really deem that tactical in a fast-paced first-person shooter. I just deem that playing like a bitch. But then again, these are also the same players that in literally every other Call of Duty game would have had like a 0.6 KD because their type of playstyle was actually punished. And yes, people have always camped in Call of Duty. I understand that, but like I've said, at the same time, these people always were the worst players in Call of Duty. People who've always camped have always done worse. And I think a lot of that has to do with the minimap, honestly, because people who sat in corners and, you know, shot people as they came through doorways would, every time they shot, they showed up on a minimap. So when they did that, the entire team, the entire enemy team, knew that they were just sitting in a corner and they would basically just be destroyed. So in this game, obviously, that doesn't really happen. I mean, they show up on the compass, but doesn't really give you like an approximate location. So you keep hearing this like argument of, oh, well, you have to adapt to the game, but then again, these are the same people who cried for like 9 years of Call of Duty about how the game was too fast-paced and they couldn't adapt to it and it needed to be slowed down so they could sit in corners. So I don't really understand that whole point myself. I just personally think the game needs to be sped up to the point that, you know, the time limit can actually run and, you know, games can be finished at the score limit and people can have fun. And I think that they need to fix the matchmaking too. Now, this is something that has gotten on my nerves so much. We've been playing a brand new Call of Duty game, and I can hardly ever get into a match that is just starting. I can never pick the map that I want to play, which in a game like Modern Warfare, where I only like 2 or 3 of the maps, oh my god, man. Do you know how helpful it would be to be able to decide which map I want to play on? I mean, it'd be like deciding which color turd I want to play on sometimes, but sometimes I'd like to pick dark green over bright green, you know what I'm saying? But they have this whole quick play thing, which basically does not allow you to get into a pre-game lobby, so there's no map voting, and on top of that, it basically just throws you into a match in progress almost every single time, at least in my experience, which means that almost every match I join into, I'm joining into a map that I don't enjoy, and I'm also joining into a match that is 80% of the way completed, and we're losing, you know, in headquarters, we're losing 178-0, which, who wants to play that match? The enemy team has streaks in the air, they got a helicopter up, they got a UAV, there's a Wheelson rolling around on the ground, my team is getting spawn trapped. It's ridiculous. Like, who wants to sit around in that lobby and play that? So I'm constantly backing out of lobbies. I'm assuming a lot of you have the same problem going on, but please let us just pick which mode we want to go into individually. Sometimes I just want to play headquarters, which I know you can filter them out, but give us pre-game lobbies so we can pick maps and things like that, please. This isn't hard. They've done this in every Call of Duty I can remember. Why is it just now that they can't do it? Because this game has so much good stuff going on with it. It has so much stuff to grind for. Like, there's so many weapon levels, there's a lot of cool attachments, the gunsmith is awesome. I really enjoy the gunplay of it. I think that it's a smooth Call of Duty game, and I think that if they fix most of these problems, which I think that they're mostly fixable issues, I think that the game will be better. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that they can take this into account and get to work on the issues, but we will see what they have to say about all this. I know that these are some pretty common issues in the Call of Duty community. I've been seeing a lot of feedback from other people. I've been talking about these issues on Twitter as well, so that'll be it for this video though, you guys. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below, lots of great things going on down there as well. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, playing Modern Warfare, and signing out.